Hi, I'm Johanna Rothman, and this is Effective Public Speaking, How to Show Your Human Value in an Age of AI. Let me tell you a little story. Jane, a tester, felt as if she was not getting the compensation she deserved. So she decided to do a little bit of extra work, just to see if maybe that recognition would help. So she led a few lunch and learns. I am personally not fond of lunch and learns. I think learning needs to happen as part of their work, but they didn't ask me. So she led a few lunch and learns. She took over some of the very boring status meetings and made them a whole lot more interesting and shorter. So she raised her profile just enough to get caught in the next round of layoffs. However, Jane had a happy ending. She landed a new job as a tester, a senior tester, and almost twice the pay because she had raised her profile enough inside the organization that other people outside the organization felt that she was really helpful and she really knew her stuff. She showed her expertise. So now that was a couple of years ago. We have all kinds of problems in the software industry, especially from AI. So many managers think that they can substitute AI for human thought. There's that old do more with less nonsense. Now it's do more with AI and less with humans. I don't understand this because it's not rational thinking, but it's the thinking that these managers have. Worse, a lot of managers think that they can replace junior people. And the problem with replacing junior people now is how will you build up the expertise you will need later as the organization and the product matures, if there are no more junior people to rise up the various expertise ladders. So while that thinking is misguided, that's what we have now for managers. And remember, AI can support the product people, but not replace them. You all know the realities of effective product development. We can create effective products when we learn with and from others, empathize with users, and create a useful and satisfying product. And testers do all of this, right? Testers are an intricate part of effective product development teams. You can't have effective product development without testers. So while we can use AI to create prototypes and maybe validate ideas, we cannot use AI, at least not effectively, not with predictive models, which is all we have right now, to create final products. We can use AI to help us get through some of the various testing of prototypes, but not to create real products. However, everyone has to be responsible for their own career. And you know me, I'm not about to say, oh, AI is terrible, what am I going to do? No. I say, how can I use AI? How can I double down on being human to create my best career? So one of the interesting things about all this AI interest right now, especially for managers, is that it clarifies we are at the end of several illusions. The first, that we ever had job security at all in any way, shape, or form. Nobody ever has job security. Right? Things happen in the organization. Things happen in the market. Things change. That means job security is an illusion. Also, we are now at the end of an illusion of always having low-cost borrowing. Low-cost borrowing allowed organizations to hire many, many more people than they ever needed because they could borrow more money at a very low cost to subsidize the salary costs of all those people. That is no longer the case. So people in organizations no longer have job security. Managers no longer have the effect of low-cost borrowing. Just those illusions are gone. So you have several things you can do. And the first is to double down on being human. And what does that really mean? Well, think about every job description you have ever read. And what does it say? Effective communication skills. And we normally, at least I normally think about that as regular writing, active listening, and regular speaking inside of teams. But I think we need to expand this idea of speaking to not just speaking in a meeting, but speaking as facilitating learning, speaking as facilitating workshops and facilitating conversations about status reports, because those are often the worst possible things, and facilitating understanding of the risks in the organization. And that's what testers do. Testers really focus on risks and risk management. So we need to be able to tell the stories of our projects, of our customers, of our products. If we cannot tell those stories, we are only half effective at this speaking business. Because as I said, testing is all about risk management. And how many of your managers really care about risk management until a disaster occurs? Some of them do. Yes, some enlightened managers care about risks before they occur. But most of the time, we do risk management as a project management function, as a testing function, as a development function, right? That's why we have test-driven development. That's all about managing the risk of not testing something as it occurs to you in the design. So all the testing that we do is all about risk management. And AI cannot do that at all. Just not. However, stories can really help people envision risks. So when I told you this little story about Jane at the start of this talk, you said, oh, Jane's going to succeed. And then you said, oh, Jane's not going to succeed because she got laid off. And then you said, yeah, Jane's going to succeed because she got a better job for more money. I'm not promising you a better job for more money in this environment. I will say that the more you are able to tell stories, the more you can connect with that ideal audience, and the more likely you are to have an opportunity to interview so you can get a better job. So the 3 secrets of effective public speaking are: the audience first needs to care about this topic. That's why I titled this talk the way I did. That relevant stories make the ideas concrete and useful. I hope I've been telling you stories all along. And that the speaker's enthusiasm is enough of a performance. Now, I tend to be a little dramatic. I raise my voice and I lower my voice. I roll my eyes. I have my hands all over the place. You do not have to be like me. You can be calm. You can be collected. No one would ever call me calm and collected. However, you can do this and stay true to yourself, because as long as people see your enthusiasm in some way, they will listen to what you say. You might be more intense than I am, and more calm. All those things are how you might speak, not how I speak. So let me talk a little bit about stories, because they incorporate facts and feeling. So a story is a character in a situation with a problem. That character tries some things, some of which succeed or fail. The successful or unsuccessful outcomes explain the change or lack thereof, right? So if we do the same things all the time, we will get what we always get. However, stories are very interesting, and you can tell the story of an organization, especially if you're at a conference, with a linked story. This is like an experience report where you say, here's what happened at the start, here's what happened next, here's what happened next, and you continue that story in a linked fashion. Then there are nested stories, which is the story within a story. I use Jane as a standalone story, but I'm sort of wondering if I actually use this as a nested story. Because stories change people's minds, right? Facts, data, logic, that's all helpful, but stories actually change what change people's minds. And as I said, Jane was calm and enthusiastic as opposed to me. So the way you think about stories, the way you deliver stories and incorporate data, right? Data is always helpful. That's how you can change people's minds. So the 3 secrets of effective public speaking are to understand what will make this audience care. How can people see your relevant stories so people can see your reasoning? And how can your enthusiasm inspire the audience to act? And your enthusiasm is authentic to you, not to me. Even one of the better things about organizing a presentation is it really helps you see your expertise, right? Whether or not you're talking about functional expertise or product focus expertise or general industry expertise, you see where you know what, right? You can understand what you know and how to frame it so other people can see what you know. That helps raise your level, raise your profile in the organization, and helps you understand where you might want to improve any of your expertise. Now remember, AIs do not create healthy relationships between people, but stories can, because stories appeal to the heart of us. And even the most logical, Spock-like human, I'm raising my hand, I am a Spock-like human, all of us have feelings. And that's why stories connect with us at a deep, deep level. So I'm not sure anybody can future-proof their careers, certainly not right now. But you can become proactive. You can improve your AI skills, because that's useful. You can improve your communication skills, often with learning how to tell stories, so you can connect with your audience so they can see the reality. Your expertise will shine through, and so will your value. This is all about doubling down so you can be more human, especially in an age of AI. So I've written a whole bunch of books. I invite you to take a look at them. I'm very proud of them. And I hope that we can stay in touch. I write a monthly newsletter called The Pragmatic Manager. Please link with me on LinkedIn. This is the Effective Public Speaking book. And I will be, as soon as I'm done with this presentation, I will start the Kickstarter preview. So maybe if you want a paper version, you might back it on Kickstarter. In any case, it's available for you to buy now.